Hello everyone. So today I'm drawing a cute woman in Procreate, and if you like what you see, keep watching. Hello again. So I'm starting off with the sketch for this one. I just wanted to get a good shape, a very consistent one. I like to think about the eyes in this case being parallel. I do change it a little bit on the left hand side, but generally my rule of thumb with eyes is to have an eyes distance between the eyes and then an eyes distance to the tip of the nose if it's like turned vertically. So that's something to bear in mind. But yeah, so I was just working on this cute face and just having a bit of play in Procreate. Please remember to like and subscribe as well. Always appreciated. So here I get down the basic colours with the intention of blending them out. So I'm using my acrylic brush in Procreate, and I'm just trying to get a feel for it. So I'm treating it just like a painting. I have a line layer above this layer. So the layer below is literally a background and I'm painting on it like I would a canvas. Now I'm doing the heat in the face, and you can find this image on Pinterest, and I highly recommend you download it or copy it because it is very useful and makes your pictures much better. At this point I start using the soft brush as my blending brush on Procreate. You can use it in Photoshop as well, it does the same thing if you use the mixer brush, and it's just to blend all the colours together so it looks more natural, more skin-like. So although it's like sort of imperceptible really with the speed, even though it's sped up, what I'm actually doing is I'm blending out a lot of the line detail now. So I've put all the layers together and I'm trying to just create a very faint hint of the black lines, and that way I'm just sort of making her a little bit more realistic. Somebody once told me that there's no black lines on anything in nature, so it's a good thing to sort of bear in mind when you're trying to sort of make your picture look a little bit more realistic than usual. It's fine if you're doing it sort of cartoon style, it depends what your style is going to be, but in this case I wanted it to look as realistic as I could. It was a bit of a test for myself. But yeah, let me know if you thought it'd work, and leave it in the comments below. And yes, please remember to like and subscribe, helps me out immensely. Also, if you were wondering, I'm drawing on an iPad Pro. It's a 2018 version, I believe. Absolutely love it. The Apple Pencil 2 is so good. Just like drawing with a pencil. Really, really impressive. And you know, I've been able to do plenty of different types of art on here, and you can check out all my other videos if you like. And that's basically it. So at this point I'm just playing around, putting in a bit of colour, blending it, a bit more colour, blending it, playing around to get the nose right. It doesn't come across on here too well, but I was having a bit of a mare with that one. But I just wanted it to be right, and had to use references as well to make sure I was sort of getting things correct, you know. So I do eventually flip the image, which I highly recommend because it really does show up when you flip it horizontally. It really does show up if there's any mistakes, and you can sort of get those out and then flip it back again. So case in point, I flipped the image and decided that I needed to straighten out the nose. I could see that the eye was a bit too high on the left hand side. Obviously flipped over, it's the one on the right hand side, it's a bit too high. And I got to work out the lips a bit better. So when I flip it back again, all the proportions are correct, but it's easily done. I'm just finalising the eyebrows, then I do bit of highlighting and some harsher highlighting and just sort of get that to look as a natural skin tone as possible. I've already got the blusher in the cheeks and things like that, but I will start to make it brighter and more alive, and then blend it back with the soft brush again. So when I'm doing the highlights this time, I think I'm using the soft brush to do that as well, not the acrylic brush, because it's a bit harsher and it's a good one to start with, but as you get into the detail, I highly recommend going into the soft brush to get a nice gentle version of everything, and then use the soft brush as a blender tool as well. Either in Procreate it's the smudge tool, or in Photoshop it's the mixer brush. Play around with it, it does work very well. You may have noticed that the eye went down and became level. I just used the selection tool or the lasso tool in Photoshop and just brought it down a bit to align it with the other eye. Sort of spotted that one a little bit late. Other things that I've done with like the shadow, so what I do is I duplicate the image, create a mask, invert the mask, convert the duplicate to multiply blend mode, and then I paint it back using white, and that gives me shadows in the correct places. And you can do the same with the highlights by switching it to screen instead. So I talk about that probably every single video because I use it all the time. It's such a quick way to get highlights and shadows. Hair is another tricky one. Again, I use Pinterest to get my references, but I found that less is more now. So you could do like a base color, do a few highlights, and then work in strands into those highlights, and then blend them at the tips, at the top of the tip and the bottom of the tip. And I find that that's very effective. So yeah, now it's a few tweaks here and there to get the shadows and the highlights in the right place. So doing a bit of a rim light around her jawline, and a few little flecks of light on her lips, and just on the top where you see the sort of peak of her lip, and on the nose. Just sort of checking that everywhere's consistent with where it would be naturally. There's a little bit of a liberty with the cartoonishness of it all, but it really works. It really sort of is a fun way to draw. You really get a nice result at the end. I have to remember that there is shadow underneath the eyelid that goes onto the eyes. That was something that I had to learn. Also on the eyebrows as well, there's like a sort of hint of light sort of protrudes a little bit, but yes, study it. Look on Pinterest, look on anything you can at people's faces, inside magazines. My wife has loads of magazines and I check those while I'm in the toilet. They're amazing. But yeah, you always see little details. And then I use a dynamic brush to just put a bit of texture in, a little bit of fun, to add a bit of artistic flair to it. And yeah, have a look at the result. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And here's the finished article. So let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see. I also write books, horror and sci-fi. They can be found on Amazon if you look up Richard Coyley. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.